American is a person who has mixed bloodline, lineage, heritage, one parent American, the other African. Wouldn't that make an African American? Did everybody understand that sample? Okay, let's see what another African American is. Immigrants who are not indigenous, whose blood heritage is from Africa, who reside on American soil, but consider themselves citizens of the United States. Example, Dutch Americans, Italian Americans, Asian Americans, Pakistani Americans, every damn group on the damn planet Americans.
That's right.
And the reason why they consider themselves Americans because they done brought themselves over here and squatted on what? And as long as they come and squat on American soil, they're recognized by the United States to be what?
Citizens.
Of the what?
United States.
Getting deep, isn't it? So, in 20 years, if you're a Negro and you've been here all along and you go around calling yourself African American, you could also be calling yourself a what?
Immigrant.
And they can give you a what?
Oh, invitation card. Get you out.
See how we get tricked? But that's why I told you, I need you to follow those what? Those covenants. I need you to study them. It's not that much hard. It's common sense. How many people, what I said kind of clicking now is hitting the heart? Stuff starting to open up, ain't it? This stuff starting to make sense. Now we see, because aren't you tired of being a victim?
Yes.
We're a victim not because we're stupid. We're a victim because we just don't know and we ignored what we were supposed to know. We're not stupid. I've never met a stupid Black American yet. I've met some simple-minded ones. But stupid? Oh no. Brilliant? Yes. Unknowledgeable, have nothing but a bunch of beliefs because they don't have enough facts to put anything together? Oh yes. So I know that once you leave here today, you're going to have your work cut out for you. No, they have no claim to inheritance in America. What does that mean? That means that they have no blood claim or no unconditional belonging here. That's the reason why in New York, they deported how many people? People know? 50,000 people. When Giuliani became mayor. He was deporting them left and right. Whenever cities don't want them, they can deport all the foreigners. And they were saying, well, no, if I got my green card and I got this, well, they passed some new laws. And they went into full force right after September 11th.
That's right.
They went into full force. So anybody here that's a foreigner, okay, operating under any illusion of their Americanness by the United States, it ain't illusion no more because they're very, very clear that the only people who cannot be deported as of this time, if we keep talking the stupidness we talking, they're going to find a way to trick us out of here, is the Negro people. Now the next question you're saying is, well, what's a Native American, right? How many want to learn that? Because this is going to get real interesting. How many people think natives are the people indigenous of the land? Well, let's see what the United States says a native is. Would you like to know? All persons born within the jurisdiction of the United States are considered as natives. What was the magic word? Thinking cap. Born and what else? Come on. Jurisdiction. Does that say anything about the land of America?
No.
So what is a native? Anybody born in the jurisdiction of the United States. Natives will be classified into those born before the declaration of our independence and those born since. All persons born with regard to the place of their birth, who were born before the Declaration of Independence, who are in the country at the time it was made, and who yield deliberate assent to it, either expressed or implied. It's better, y'all, don't it? So you don't even have to be born here. All you got to do is what? Think it. Feel it. Imagine it. Say it. I am now Native American. And so is what? Is. Well, wait a minute. What happened to the Indians? Indians, have you seen the Indian yet? So anybody can be a native of what? American. As long as they're in the jurisdiction of the what? So are they Native Americans, or would you consider them Native Americans of the who? United States. Get it? They're not Native Americans of America. It didn't say anything about America. It said United what? So I guess you're asking, who are the Native Americans? Because it's obvious that the people who are calling themselves the Native Americans are doing it because they can do it because it's either expressed, what? Or implied, whatever floats your boat. Those persons who were born within the colonies and before the Declaration of Independence, removed into other parts of British dominions and did not return prior to the peace would not probably be considered natives, but aliens. Now, I'm going to listen. Persons who were born within the colony, persons who were born within the colonies and before the Declaration of Independence, removed into other parts of the British dominions and did not return from peace. That means that if you was here and you left, you was a cracker, you came here and you left, and you went on back to England or where the hell you came from, and they came from Sweden, Netherlands, it gets deep, France, all these places, and when they made their Declaration of Independence, your butt was still over there, well, you now considered what? An alien. Persons born within the United States since the Revolution may be classed into those who are citizens and those who are not. Natives who are citizens are the children of citizens and of aliens who at the time of their birth were residing within the United States. Now mind you, everything is united what? And one word I mentioned about the land called what? America. Now what was on the land called America before these Europeans came in? They were, what were they called? Indigenous. No, they weren't. They were called what? Come on, what you learned at school? Indians. I'm going to give you two things. You're going to follow the regular way because you're going to learn to use the regular way to decipher what they're doing. See, everything they do is coded. So when you leave here today, you're going to know how to read their codes to them. You're going to know that when you see the word Indian, mean Negroes, you're going to know. And you're going to be deciphering stuff left and right. Because you're going to be able to decode it. Because you got the information to know what they're doing. Everything on the world operates from the covenant of life. This is recognized through how nations are recognized, how industry is developed, how trade is associated, is by sovereigns. Got it? So everybody needs to know where their sovereign is. Well, you will. I'm getting the Native Americans out the way. Let me move on down here. Natives who are not citizens are first the children of ambassadors and other foreign people, ministers who are born here. Secondly, Indians in general are not citizens. Thirdly, Negroes or descendants of the African race in general have no power to vote or are not eligible to office. Native male citizens who are not lost their political rights after attaining, this is for Europeans. Okay, now, it says, so therefore, Indians and Negroes cannot be considered what?
Citizens.
No, natives. So now, does that understand why they always don't look at you and say you a Native American? So your question is, what are Black American people, right? Because you Negro. You are indigenous to America. You was here before they came. You was here before the declaration of their what? How they call it? Our independence. You are America. You are the people of America. You got it? Now, let me give you some definitions because I'm getting ready to open up the, you know what, I'm not even going to bother with that. How many people want to know? Let me do it real quick. I'll make this real quick so that you understand the words. Culture An integrated pattern of human behavior that includes thought, communications, actions, customs, beliefs, values, institutions of racial, ethnic, religious, or social group, race. And I want you to pay attention to this race. A local, geographic, or global human population. How many people always hear us considered as a race?
Big time.
Raise your hand.
Big time.
So that means that you are a global human what?
Population.
Got deep, didn't it? Got deep. As a more or less distinct group by genetically transmitted physical characteristics. Don't we know a black American wherever we go? I don't care, I've been all over the world, I know my people. And I'm going to tell you something, I ain't been no place where I ain't seen a boat yet that come in with a bunch of Negroes from nowhere else. I ain't seen it. Have you ever wondered that? How you can know where everybody else came from? You can look at them and tell. Now come on, y'all know y'all can look at folks and tell who's here and who's not. Have you ever wondered, well, who's going to replenish us? Where's our immigrants? As though we from or replace us, right? Why isn't anybody coming here looking like my long-lost cousin? Because we are a race of people. And we're only located in certain regions of the what? World. A group of people united and classified together on the basis of common history, nationality, geographical distribution, ethnic, of or pertaining to a religious, here we go with that word again, racial, national, or cultural group. Tribe. Now this is the most wildest thing for a tribe, because this ain't got nothing to do with a tribe, but it has a little truth in it. But for them, that's good, because every 20 years they change definition of words. They kind of get a little bit more distorted.
Yep.
So I have to, when I do my research, I love it how I can find all these different word meanings. Any of various systems of social organization comprising several villages, bands, distinct lineages of other groups, or sharing a common ancestry, language, culture, and name. So I said that wasn't too bad. Because to me, a tribe is nothing but a community. How many people live in Decatur? That's your tribe. Southwest Atlanta. That's your tribe. Got it?
South Central LA.
Yeah, that's your tribe. There you go. Do you see it? That's all a tribe was. But they never tell you that, did you? But that's your tribe. Now, belief. Mental acceptance or conviction in truth or of actuality of something. It says mental acceptance of a conviction. It don't mean it's true. It's not fact. There's nothing there about fact. Value, or principle, standard, or quality considered worthwhile or desirable. All right. Are you ready to find out where we belong? What's our inheritance?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
Here we go. Baby, you may want to get this real good. So make sure can you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. University of Mississippi, 1995. I'm going to let y'all get a chance to read the first thing. And now I'll read it to you. It is estimated that 95% of all black Americans are the last of the bloodline descendants of the Amerindians. It is commonly known among researchers that less than 1% of the total population can trace white blood. Breeding of black women was not successful with the colonial plantation owners. The women would often kill the children, or the children that was born was sickly and did not survive. Got deep, didn't it? How many of you want to know what an Amerindian is?
Yeah.
An American Indian. How many of you got Indian grandmothers? Raise your hand. Come on now, raise your hand. Well, that's your heritage. How's it feel?
Good.
So where do you belong? Welcome home. That's the reason why they told you you had an Indian what? Because they were passing down the inheritance identity info what? And it comes from your who? Mother through the grandmother. That is your bloodline. Recognize it and respect it. Because there is no other place for you to go. Descriptions. I know y'all want some descriptions. Y'all want to see some Indians too? Okay. Cherokee, Muskogees, Creek, Chickasaws, Choctaws, Creeks. They got there's over 500,000 names of us. But I just get the most general, and I'll explain nations and stuff. Are tall, erect, moderately robust, their limbs well shaped so generally to form a perfect human being. Their features regular and countenance open, dignified and placid. Yet the forehead and brow so formed as to strike you instantly with heroism and bravery. The eye rather small, yet active or full of fire. The iris is always black, the nose commonly inclining to the aquiline. Brother, stand up here for me, please. Please come here. There you go. Stand to the side, my girl. As you see, aquiline. Eyes. Close into the ground. Tall. Pump it, baby. Magnanimous stature.
That's right.
Hair black or black. Now we're going with Europeans. So you know they ain't going to give you so much. But this is close to black. And eyes are hazel brown. Transparent brown. Now, how many of you have children who have transparent eyes? Come on, raise your hand. Come on now. You know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know. How many of you babies are first born white? The babies were born white. They looked white. Raise your hand. No, I'm taking a consensus to see how many people are recognizing the different bloodline and characteristics. So that's why I'm doing it. So when you raise your hand, if I say something that I recognize, please raise your hand because it's giving me an understanding gauge of exactly what's left, what's still coming through. You follow me? Okay, that has not been told at Kilgore. Thank you so much. You're handsome. Okay. Their complexions. And didn't he have an exhibit magnanimity and superiority and independence, especially when he did? Yeah. Yes, he did. Thank you so much, brother. But I can do this everywhere I go. I can just take anybody out of the audience and stand them up here, you know. Anybody else would like to take a litmus test? I want you. Come on, you. You in that brown shirt. Show fine stuff. Yeah, nobody gonna do 2 hours of lecture just listening. You know black folks, we gotta have a little fun.
That's right.
That's our spirit. Here, but on a serious note, again, look at his brow. Would you turn around to the side? Now he has the Apache nose, believe it or not. You got people in Alabama and stuff? Mississippi, there you go. Like I said, after a while, you do as much as I do. I can look at you and pretty much tell exactly, what you're mixed with. Now, mind you, just for educational note, there were 700 million Indigenous Americans here when the Europeans came. We were 100%, no, you had the Southwestern migratory people coming, but that was at a very small percentage, maybe 17%. So the land was basically 85% Black American. We're down to 12% now. Sisters, we got work to do. But again, listen to brother, look at the jawline. You see his eyes? Again, that countenance. You see, for those who don't understand countenance is that persona right here around the brow. It gives that, when we look at him, we can see that power, that sense of virility.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with fertility now. Now we're going to have to get over this. Because if we're going to make it, we're going to have to start embracing it. And start looking, women, y'all got to start looking at these men you having babies with, looking at them brows and them eyes and see what you're coming up with. Now, oh God, he's gorgeous. But look at those eyes. Anyway, I didn't mean to make you blush. But anyway, now you're a very handsome brother. When I first saw you, it was striking. I said, look at that Apache. Because Apache speak, and I bet you there's certain characteristics that go with the Apache man I found. I found that Apache men are hot-tempered. Are you hot-tempered? No, all these characteristics are of the bloodline. It's beautiful. It's the most wonderful work you ever want to do. You know, writing down the characteristics of bloodlines, because they don't lie. You'll know them. You know, like, oh, I got me Apache here. So you know that he's hot-tempered. Okay. He's very compassionate. When he gets stuck on something and he wants to move, you move. And you move with a fervor. Is that correct? You know, and he's not quick to fight, but if he fights you, he's going to whip your ass.
That's right. Go ahead, brother.
Today, a lot of those bloodline lineages, we call them thugs. But they're not really thugs. Them warriors. Them braves that can't stand to be under the situation they're in, and they got to express that stuff some kind of way, and we done gave them a bag, some bad choices. So they stuck between a hard rock and a soft place. So they do the best they can do between the two of them. You can go ahead and sit down, brother. Brother, thank you so much. But you don't pat yourself.
That's right.
Okay, let's go deal with the women. That's enough. Okay, sisters, let me see. I'm going to find me a Muskogee. If I describe you here, just stand up so we can see, okay? Women of Cherokees are tall, slender, erect, of delicate frame, features formed with perfect symmetry. Their countenance cheerful and friendly. They move with a becoming grace and dignity. All the people with different shades of copper to dark reddish brown skin. Does that get anyone? Me?
That's right.
You don't know how happy me and a few of my airline stewardess friends were, because you know all airline stewardesses were the same size when we got the job. I wasn't an airline stewardess, but all my friends were. We were all perfect size 7. I was a model, you know, modeling and all that stuff. Perfect size 5'8", 5'9", and I couldn't understand. I used to hate my height, because everybody, all the women in my family are tall on both sides of the family. My father's mother's 5'11", and my mother's mother was 5'6". So here I am, 5'9", perfect size 7, perfect size 1, you know, that little tiny twiggy thing when I was young. I'm an old woman now. I worked hard to get this figure. But I was a perfect size. Well, no, I'm serious. People used to make fun of me because they used to call me skinny legs and all. Remember that record? I wouldn't wear shorts until I was 40. And now brothers come to tell me, you got some thighs. I'll be, thank you. You want to see them? I waited 40 years for these suckers. But anyway, that characteristic is now, when I read this, it was very, very helpful for me because it let me know that I was Cherokee. And that was just the way we were built. And it was so nice to know, because I couldn't find myself in Africa. I went all over Africa. There was nothing like me. I mean, there were some tall people. There was some, okay, come on, baby, come on, stand on up here. I said anybody that described, come on up. What you were doing? You gonna wait for me to go through the whole lecture? And then you gonna come up to me, oh, I'm a Cherokee. Come on over here and stand and be proud. This is Cherokee.
Wow.
Look at us. She will fill out to look like me. But it's okay. No, but this is Cherokee. You see how the bloodline comes through? Reddish brown skin, tall,
Let's see the profile.
delicate flame. Let's see, features form with perfect symmetry. When they mean perfect symmetry, that means they're totally balanced in your face. Now, quite a few women here have that. You have that. Now let's deal, I'm gonna see if I had brought the Muskogee one, because I got a lot of different, well, thank you so much. Walk with grace. Okay, how many people think the Indian have straight hair? Oh, come on, be honest. If you're going to clean up, come on, we're going to clean up stuff. Don't be holding on to all the more inquisitions. She daddy brown skin, they look like some Indian, but look at that hair. She ain't got that hair right. That girl ain't got no straight hair up there. She got some braid over here. She got that hair. She ain't no Indian. She makes a song. She look like a nigga to me. Shoot. Oh, my grandmama had hair down her behind. It was that soft stuff. She kept it braided. She wasn't bald-headed. And you're right. She wasn't bald-headed and it did grow down to the ground. But your grandmother knew how to take care of it. She didn't put relaxers in it and burn it all up. She wasn't told that it was ugly. She wasn't told that she had to change. She wasn't rejected by men because her hair wasn't of a certain condition and it didn't stay straight when it got wet. She didn't have to deal with the fact that it was woolly, and when it turned into a sponge, it got short looking and it didn't look long and flowing. All she had to do was rebraid it. And when it dried, it'd be long again. Huh? Oh, we got another turkey, yeah.
Oh, yeah, get her up there.
Come on now. Come on now. We ain't got all day. Kick you out.
She's trying. Look at him.
Come on.
Look at him.
Come on, Chris. Come on up here. She knows she's turkey. But you already been through this. Come on, boo-boo. You should be proud of your heritage. What's your name? She know that. Let's sit on her. You are beautiful. Did you know you're beautiful?
Put your head up, princess.
Put your hair up.
Yeah, let her see your beauty. There she goes. Look at her skin color. Look at that reddish brown skin hue. That's indigenousness. It's normal. It's normal, sisters. It's normal, brothers. You see my skin complexion? Some of y'all looking at me like, oh, she high yellow. It's all right.
No, red bone. Baby calling you red.
No, I'm a red bone. I'm a red bone. And her skin color is going to change as she gets older. It's going to turn more of a deeper hue, especially if she has few little children and keep that bloodline going. And you're going to have a minimum of 4. I'm telling you that now. 4. And I'll read to you later why you must have a minimum. So sisters who are grandmothers now, we got work to do because we done messed up. I ain't get my 4. And ain't the way things are going, I ain't going to get no more 4. So, but we need 4 children. The reason why is that you need 4 children to perpetuate your bloodline. It brings in both sides of the mother, the father, of the mother and father of the who? The father. So it takes 4 children. That's a whole nother course on how to do genetic stuff like that. Okay, let's go here. Let me see what I want to deal with hair. All right, let's see. Note, quickly, the common perceived images of Amerindian features is shattered. Okay, the above paintings demonstrate very quickly that some Amerindians have straight hair, while others possess curls in the extreme and every level of wavy hair in between. Does that sound like y'all? What do we call that hair today?
Some maps.
Them some naps. I love it. I got somebody who's gonna be real. You know, people look at it like, I don't know what we call that hair. I was like, well, look at me here. You knew what it was this morning? It is called nappy hair. How many of our hair is soft and fine? You know, the one that can't take that relaxer and burn out easy. And then you have that harsh and silk. You know, that other stuff that be like Brillo. Cut your fingers when you put your hand in it. That's Indian hair too. There are a great many of these people whose complexions appear as light as half-breeds, among the women in particular. So that means we can, remember them light-skinned sisters? They can gray eyes, blue eyes. How many of you have seen brown-skinned people with blue eyes? Naturally. That's right. That's normal part of the what? Of the heritage. We're also close. All other primitive tribes known in America are dark copper colored with jet black hair. And it also says jet black eyes. So for you to be a brown-skinned, dark-skinned person or a brown-skinned person with black hair or brownish dark hair and brown eyes also allows you to be under the race of what? American Indian. You're an Amerindian. Now I'm using these terms and I want you to write them down because if you're going to do any research, you're going to need to use them. Everything is cloaked. Amerindian. Just put American Indian together, you know. Never Native Americans. Because remember, Native Americans are what? Anybody born in the jurisdiction of the United States before the Declaration of Independence or since. Let's go. I wanted to talk about here being very small. John Smith was known adventurer, still had some value when looking over his work, it becomes obvious that no love was lost between Smith and the American Indians. We should hardly attribute a civilized aspect out of the kindness of his heart. With this in mind, consider his description of the Amerindians he encountered. So what he's saying is that this dude is what? A racist. Okay, so let's see what this racist had to say. Some being very large, tall and big as the Shasquaskanaks, others very little, short and petite as the Waikikokamos, but generally tall and straight, of a commonly proportion and of shades of brown when they are of any age, but they are born white. Hair is generally dark and few wear beards. Later in accounts he comments the ointments were rubbed onto the skin to protect the individual from sunburn. But when I first read that, actually reading the actual book, I laughed, I cracked up. Because don't we still do that? So you putting that lotion on your child, and you remember how you was raised with that lotion, sister? And we put that lotion? That's not an African thing. That's an Indian thing. It's been with her here before they won. Okay. And so I love it because when you learn more about your heritage, you'll start seeing that a lot of our heritage has not died. We still do it. Every day. Every day. We just do not honor it. And that's okay, because we didn't know no better. We just thought Grandma just didn't know what she was talking about. Because Grandma just didn't explain it too much, did she? Don't feel bad, my grandmama didn't say anything either, and she's a graduate from Tuskegee. And I got her right before she died, and had this real deep conversation where she told me all about the white man. So it helped me out to be able to do this work. She just finally, gave me what she knew. All of the tribes known in America are copper-colored with jet black hair. The reason why I want to read this, from these facts alone, the reader will see that I am among a strange and interesting people, and will pardon me if I lead him through a maze of novelty and mysteries, of a strange yet kind and hospitable people. What's he saying?
Peace.
He's saying that we were warm, that we were human, that we were loving, that we treated people like we wanted to be treated ourselves. We did not discriminate on humanness. We did not discriminate about the treatment towards any form of what? Life. Whose fate, like that of all their race, this is what got me. I want you to read, because I'm going to leave there for a few. I want you to read what this person said. This was written in 1822. George Catlin, go down to the library right there. They don't rearrange the Atlanta Public Libraries over there the other day. I always got to check because they be moving my stuff, Please leave the stuff in the library. Please, I know y'all like what you read. Do not take the information out of the library. Other people need to see it and validate their ancestry. Okay, every time I go back, there's books missing. Brothers, stop. Okay, I made that official. I'm not promoting the looting of the library. Okay, but you can find the information today on the second floor and just look for American Indian, and you can find the actual book written. It has tons of our indigenous papers. You cannot take it out. It's a reference book. Another book that you can use is the history of the Southern Indians, the only land they ever knew, slavery, in colonial times. Oh, you're going, wow, that got deep. Okay, but what I want to say was, whose fate like that of all their race is sealed with doom, is fit to live just long enough to be imperfectly known, and then fall before the disease or sword of civilizing devastation. You got that? You want me to break that down? What they're saying is that we was a loving and beautiful race, but we're doomed by them to be just long enough. That means that they're going to distort you. They're going to rearrange you. That you're not going to know which way is up. And then they're going to fill you with disease from as they make you break your life covenants. Your protection for life will die. You will then your systems for fertility will start to degenerate. And when you start having degeneration, you have what? Disease. And you will think after a while that you are being civilized. And I hated when I read it. You know why? Because it's true. It happened. Are we not imperfectly known? Until today, you didn't know it. How many of you thought an Indian was a light-skinned, straight-haired person? Or some Spanish-looking person? Come on, be honest. And how many of them thought Indian, you knew you were Indian by that hair? Oh, they got that hair. Now, sisters, don't even go there, because I know you believe. That little boy raised his hand and said, yeah, that's what I thought. So this is very true. We are imperfectly known. So what they're saying is that you're not even going to know who you are when they finish with us. And this was written in 1822. And I got to say, they've been very effective at it. Because everything I read written in the 1700s and the 1600s, want to hear something funny? It came to pass. I see it. I'm like, wow. Whoa, this was written in 17 something. They were writing about what they were going to do to us. And they have effectively reached their goals. So at this point, I'm trying to see. I want to give y'all pictures. I don't know where they went. Oh, here they go. This was done in 15, I love this little piece. This was done in 1503, okay? This is Hiawatha. Hiawatha, having disguised himself as the most fearful manner he could, caused Captain Smith to be brought forth to a great house in the woods, and thereupon made by the fire to be left alone. Not long after, from behind a mat that divided the house, was made the most dolefulest noise he ever heard. Then Hiawatha, more like a devil than a man, with some 200 more as black as himself. Did you hear the word he used? Black as himself. Hiawatha. So what area? Anybody know? This is Virginia. Virginia. And the people will call Algonquin. And we'll get into that later. As I said, this here is just a oh goodness. Everybody know these heads?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well, unfortunately, the brother did not, I could not get a picture of him, but my next door neighbor is the exact replica of this face. I showed it to him. He said, what am I doing in this book? That ain't me. But he said, what am I doing in the book? He said, and then when he looked at himself, he said, that ain't me. He had to take a double take. I said, yes, that is you. The bloodline still what? Lives. So he was so proud to know he came from something. Because he thought he came out of the Mississippi Delta, you know. Yeah, no, honey, you should see him now. He all proud, positive, running around here. With gold teeth. And I told him, I said, don't embarrass your great-grandfather too bad. Now that you know you got one.
Flip it over.
When Europeans said we like shiny trinkets. And that really hasn't changed. We still like shiny trinkets. You see them every day walking around with crosses and gold teeth and all kinds of cars. They're nothing but what? Trinkets. They have no tangible substance. Shiny trinkets. Here's another brother. Look at this guy. Who knows him?
Samuel.
Good God in this mighty.
Little Richard.
Come on, let's take a look.
Tutti Frutti.
To the fruit, heaven. Don't that look like Little Richard? Look like he was in one of them movies, huh? Boom, 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 boom. No, this picture is actually taken in 1832. So we know that's not Little Richard, right? Who would that have to be? How about Little Richard's great-great-grandfather? And guess what his name was? The Prophet. At least that's what the European named him. So he was a powerful man. And I looked at his grandson. I said, his grandson is still a powerful what? Man. Just in a different what? Way. So the bloodline of the power still did what? It came on through. It still remanifested. See that bloodline? So his grandfather was a prophet of the people. His grandson is an entertainer of the people. He is still working with the masses. He is still sending a message. It's just different. Bloodline. Oh, y'all gonna love this one. Oh, no, not this one. This is nothing but a simple picture. I didn't bring everything with me, but all of our men never cut their hair. You wore your hair either shaved bald, like you do today, top lock, or you wore it in plaits, and you let the plaits grow, or you had what we call locks. And I love this picture because this picture actually shows locks going down to the ground. And in the research that I've done, when I do the longer lecture where we go into more identity, I show you the actual research where it says we wore locks. They describe dreadlocks. Europeans are describing dreadlocks, and people are like, wow! Yeah. And they describe your plaits and all of this stuff. European people fragmented us. They dissected you. They were no different than cutting up a frog. And so now for a person like me who's coming back to reclaim the heritage, I'm kind of glad they did. Because they made a lot of details, so now I can put it back to what? Thank you. Here's another brother. Look at the body stature. Look at that aquiline nose. See that nose again? There you go. Where you go? There go your nose. Okay, I'm going to make this real quick, so I'm going to move along. Who's this? Everybody know who this person is. Who over 25. Thank you. I thought Red Fox was dead. Well, guess when this was done? 1802. So is this Red Fox? Who does that have to be? More than great, baby. How about his great-great-great-great-great-grandfather? You're going back almost 7 generations. Bloodline. And guess what his name was? Blistered Fox. Page, let me write, I give you the page.
Foot.
Go research it, it's right at the Atlanta Public Library, 2nd floor. You'll find the same picture in full color. I couldn't get it out of color. You know, I want to get the information to you. I don't want to give them a reason to get stupid. How many people know a brother look like that? How many people know a brother look like that? You like, no? Raise your hand if you know a brother look like that. Ah, goodness gracious. I know a brother look like me and eating a little bit. You remember he used to work on TV news? I said, man, I got a picture of you and he showed it to you. Because he looked just like it. But anyway, this bloodline, guess where this bloodline is? This is Mayan. Mayan. I know y'all looking. Mayan. How many people know brothers look like this? Mayan. You should wait till you see the Hawaiians. See that brother right there with the blocks right there? I can take him to Hawaii, he'd do fine. You know who else looks Hawaiian? How many people know Lycurgus? I found Lycurgus in a history book. I told him, I said, Lycurgus, you are Hawaiian. I said, I got your picture over here. He still don't believe me. I said, one day you will. You're going to wake up, spirit going to knock you in your head. Pow, didn't I tell you, didn't somebody send you a message? This is a picture of
Up. There you go.
There you go. Can you see it? Okay. And it's interesting. It goes, this early Oklahoma school had red and black Indian students. From what we know, is there any such thing as a black Indian student? How can you be a black Indian student? What color are the Indians? So how can you be black Indian? So what are you saying? You Indian? See, and the reason why I'm playing with these terms is because we're going to have to adjust our attitudes in order to get out of this pickle. And we're going to have to start operating from some truth. So we're going to have to start listening to the words we use to create the wrong pictures, that create the wrong messages that are instituted into the children and bring on misconceptions and distortion. That's why I said I don't mind using my information, but don't be crazy. Oh, she talked about black Indians. There ain't no such thing as a black Indian. If you're Indian, you're black. That's what makes you Indian, because you're black. That's how they know who you are, because you were brown skinned with some curly hair. Now you understand why everybody hated you what? Your mom was telling you about hide your what? Because you were hiding your what? Your indigenousness. That's what it was about. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with you. It wasn't that you didn't belong. But in hiding your indigenousness may have stopped you from being harmed and persecuted by all the foreigners that were trying to call themselves natives what? Americans. Now why would they want to call themselves Native Americans? What are they trying to do?
Steal the land.
Thank you. Now you understand. We're getting deep on how United States stole America. It even gets deeper. But I need you to follow it. Now, you would like to know what kind of civilization we had. Well, our civilization was called the Mound Builders. How many people have heard of the Mound Builders? Oh, good. You're going to like this. Okay? And you know what always gets me about the Mound Builders? What they always go, monuments of the vanished people. Now, the truth of it is, from the covenant I just gave you, how can a people vanish? Who would have to help them vanish? How long would it take? Can they vanish in a day? Can you go, Soviet gone? Can they? Can they vanish in a day? No, they cannot. This book was written in 1999, so how did a whole race of people vanish? So the truth of it is, they didn't vanish at all, did they? How about reclassified?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Did that sound more like it? So I always say, no, we didn't vanish, we just reclassified. You should hear me at the Cherokee Reservation. They hate my guts. They offer me jobs and everything. Shut my mouth. Oh, please change that book. I'm like, no, I'm going to sue you. I don't want your money. I just want my name.
Up.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine.
This is an actual picture of a mound. You can go to Etowah Mound, located in Georgia, Etowah, Georgia. There's more mounds. I live up in Cullowhee, North Carolina. I live around 7 mounds. They're unearthing one right now. I'm in Western North Carolina. There's over 250,000 pyramids built by Black American ancestors in North America alone. Isn't that nice? The Etowah Mound is one mound that they may tell you it's a funeral setup, but that's not what a mound was built for at all. It actually was our library. And it kept the ancestral genealogies, as well as all the sustainable information and equipment that was needed to make cloth, pottery, regrow the food. If you ran into a drought All of that was kept into a mound. I really do suggest that it's free, that you go down to Etowah, or you can go down to take 7585 to Macon, and go to the Macon Mound before they're trying to destroy it. They're getting ready to put a highway through it. Pardon me? Yes. But you can go there. It's exactly, what, an hour from here? It's a wonderful ride. Our area, I want to make this quick because people here know. You know, you talk about what you're going to say for hours and hours and hours. Then you get up in front of the people and you wing it.
That's right.
That's right.
Spirit says, oh no, we're going to say it like this. You know, a whole nother personality come out. As you can see, all of this here is the mound builders going in here, and actually Central America, what is called Central America today. But originally, Central America wasn't called Central America. It was actually part of North America. Okay? And our ancestral city, our ancestral capital, so our nation actually extended from South America into North America, not vice versa. See, Europeans always be changing stuff. To a person like me. And I love this little picture here because it shows you a lot of our land territory. So we got a lot of land, don't we? So can you see the covenant of God here for you? You have a whole continent that belongs to you. So today, a lot of us are not going to look like one particular stereotype or another. Okay? We are what's left of a race of people that belonged in North America that had lineage lines in other areas. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I just wanted to show you something here that always gets me. It says this map above locates some of, you see what it says, some of the principal settlements of the three successive Indian cultures that flourished in eastern North America during ancient times. Ancient. And then they say here, this Redien people built their villages and mounds mostly in present-day southern Ohio. And then they go into saying how the third and latest culture, the Mississippian, was far more extensive. And from Georgia, Florida, north to Wisconsin. Now, I love this when it says Georgia, Florida, north to Wisconsin. Where the hell is Wisconsin? Anybody know where Wisconsin is? Wisconsin is all the way over there by Seattle.
What?
Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin. Right? That's not on the northeastern seaboard. Sure, it's nowhere near the Mississippi. Wisconsin is all the way over here. It's up on the top of by Missouri, next to Wisconsin, comes Seattle. So that means that our land mass actually went to California, girlfriend. That's what they're saying in an indirect way. Don't believe me? Go get a map. Go home, find Wisconsin. Remember, it extends from north to Wisconsin and west into Arkansas. But you know what gets me about this? I didn't show you to share that. Mississippian, guess when our culture ended? Ready? Mississippian, our culture, the mound builders, who had all this extensive land, who had such an extensive, huge culture, it ended 1700s. Did you learn of anything in your history books of a whole race of people that went extinct in the 1700s? Did you learn anything about that? Do you know anybody know anything about a whole bunch of people that went, the whole Indian race left during the 1700s? Now you would have thought if we vanished, they would at least made us vanish a few hundred years ago, you know what I'm saying? But not just yesterday. 1700. So when I saw 1700, I knew then that this was a what? Because you ain't never been taught about it. I couldn't find, I looked all over for these people who vanished in 1700 and couldn't find it. Couldn't find it. So how could Time magazine, and this is a Time-like books. Go get it. It's a beautiful book, Mound Builders. And after today, you're going to read that book and you're going to go, my God, they have all this stuff about my heritage you didn't even know. But would you like to know how we vanished? Oh no, I got something else here. I want to show you all the land. Differences of religion, I don't want to read that. I want to read this. Quail, wild pigeons, ducks traveled in flights several miles long. The coastal waters and inland stream held seafood larger than anything seen in Europe. 12-foot sturgeons and oysters measuring almost a foot across. Wild grapes grew everywhere, together with cherries, nuts, wild rice, with every variety of berry. Moreover, the land itself proved rich for farming. The Indians had cultivated maize or corn, pumpkins, squash, tomatoes, both white and sweet, peppers, cashews, nuts, peanuts, pineapples, avocados, strawberries, limes, kidneys, and many other beans, and hundreds of other food plants unknown in Europe before discovery of America.
Come on.
That is our commerce industry. Didn't I just say it all? And guess what else they found before they came? That was here, cotton. And the reason why I'm bringing this up to you, because if we're going to talk about reparation, let's get reprising him. You talking about slavery and what you stole. Cotton. Do you know that there was over 200 fabrics? They did not know what fabric was. All they had was leather and some wool. And the wool comes from what animal, y'all? Sheep. Sheep. Have you ever seen a wild sheep?
No.
You ain't going. Sheep is not indigenous to America. Sheep is from Europe. And that's what they made their clothes from. Now this page here goes on and on and on about how we did different stuff. The European, let me see, Atlantic. Okay, I like to read this part. Early accounts tell of the astonished delight surrounded by the sights of magnificent forests, the quiet lakes, the vast stretches of flowering woodland crossed by sweet water brooks. In spring, the fragrance of blossoming trees and shrubs along the Atlantic seaboard drifted far out to the sea, and boats sailing along the coast sometimes passed through clusters of flowers floating in the water. The country was not only beautiful to look at, but abundant, filled with food, with game and food of every kind. What does that sound like to you? What was our homeland like?
Yeah,
Paradise. You are sitting in the Garden of Eden.
come on.
This picture here is of your ancestralist city that belongs exclusively to Black American people. Now we're going to see what you did with your Garden of Eden. Today, this is considered Texas. Texas. All right. How you like it? Can y'all see it? I have a bigger picture of it in the back. See the pyramids? Isn't it wonderful? No, I have a picture. It's going to be on the wall in the back. Y'all can come back when I'm finished. No. I mean, I have a picture here, but if y'all can't see it clearly, you can see it later. I have cards with it. I was so proud of our city that I felt that every indigenous person should know.
That's right.
What do we have? How you feel? Don't it feel good? Look at the pyramids in the background, y'all. Look at the temples. Look at pyramids. Look at the sister.
That's right.
Sister, matriarchal society. Now I only got a few more minutes and I want to get to the other part. Because this is the part that's going to make the change. What's necessary to transfer the sovereignty of land from one race to another? Are you ready? I'm going to read this quick. The invading people must challenge the conscious resolve of the indigenous collective to violate the life covenants. 2, challenge their belief systems and principles. Create the stage to allow non-accountability, alter their physical state of mind. We know what that is, right? Alter their physical state of mind, drugs, liquor, alcohol, sugar. Even though sugar is indigenous, but white sugar is actually arsenic.
Come on.
Alter your physical state of mind. Stop the transfer of receivership to the children, slavery of the women. We're not going to have time to go through all that. If I get extra time, I would go through what the purpose of slavery is. Stop the transfer of heritage knowledge about the land. They effectively did that. Direct target women, control and exterminate. Why do they have to control our industry and exterminate us? Because as long as we're the producers of the what? Who carry the what? That's right. That's right. So as long those children are the direct inheritors. So we had our inheritance, we still do, but our children will get it right behind us.
Right.
With the cycle. Do you follow me? It's just that we didn't know we had an inheritance, so we have to go back to our grandmothers and stuff, start beating them on top of their heads and say, y'all need to talk. I'm only kidding. Indirect target, man. Stop the man from protecting the inheritance, participate in exploitation for control. That means you got to get the man to stop seeing his oneness with his people. You got to get him to operate selfishly. I, me. I don't want no babies. I don't want no responsibility. You trying to take my money. When the truth of it is, ain't no black man here supposed to be sitting here thinking that way because you got another bigger issue. Every man around the world do protect their children, even if the system that they're protecting, that they've developed for their women and children may not be the best. Okay? To our standards. But they're still protecting their what? Now, you don't see no Japanese men running around here putting their women out there selling prostitution to them, or to their kids over the radio. Ooh, baby, shake that thing, shake that round thing, shake that groove thing. Fertility.
That's right.
You know, they'll kill them. How dare you degrade us that way? We have our own humanity. You don't see it. All men are supposed to protect the collective women and the what? Children.
Yes, ma'am.
There is no question about it.
I bear witness.
So if you're not protecting something, you need to be checking yourself. But I understand there's no blame here because you just really didn't know no better. Well, you kind of knew no better, but you have nobody to make you accountable for it, so you felt you didn't have no responsibility for it, so therefore it goes to this. So today, most of our brothers are breeders. Because they no longer have lost connection to their responsible respect for their covenant of life to protect and support the environment. So as long as they're not protecting and supporting the environment, the European man gives him the power to exterminate him and control him and use him to exploit his own what? People. Which then, therefore, through the exploitation of his people, causes the result of loss of covenant, so therefore he then becomes exploited what? Too. See the cycle? It's all about, so I always tell people, it's not about them. It's all about who? Us. And we need to look at it. It's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I know we all made mistakes. We all have made mistakes because we did not know no better. But we can create change now that we what? Do. We can change our attitudes. So the next time we see that girl and tell her, girl, how you going to raise that baby? It's not going to be that. It's going to be okay. I know she's not educated enough. I know that she don't know. So I'm going to have to nurture this situation, keep an eye on it, and step on in when it's necessary. But that child has to do what? And then I'm going to go over there and be auntie. I'm a grandmama of 25 children. I'll take anybody's baby. I will be their grandmama. I let them raise it, but when I see they need to step on in, you know what I'm saying? Come on, let me get that child. Come over here, child, let me talk to you. Let me give you that love. And I tell that child who that child is. Because that's what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
That's what we're supposed to be doing. And it don't cost a dime. I mean, you can still go to Macy's. Direct target man. Redirect the industry production of the woman from sustaining the planetary covenant. Establish bloodline mutation using the man. Create confusion about natural instincts from the heart and the logical mind through the children. Stop, break, isolate the sole expression of love between a woman and a man through fear and betrayal. Create the belief that there is more benefit as individuals instead of as a collective.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's us in a nutshell. And the reason